I'd actually made a video on Monday and I forgot to post it because I had a secondary part where I was going to try and teach some basic charting and TA and indicators, and I just got overwhelmed and didn't post it. But essentially, update from the weekend was I kept seeing week, daily, and 4-hour signals, while the weekly were not so bad. But again, I kept mentioning over the last 2 weeks, like we are kind of slow momentum, kind of at the frothy top. I'll actually get into Lululemon later. I want to just start off with what happened this week because it was kind of interesting. And it doesn't look as interesting on a week as per the day. So as I saw that weakness and said I didn't really have a lot of confidence on what to buy, we had this nice, let me see what day this is to make sure I'm saying the right thing here. So yeah, we essentially had this, it's a mini rug pull. It felt a lot worse in some stocks than it looks. But yeah, we just had this rollover to start the week. And then we had the Jackson Hole, where we were all expecting Powell to say we were going to get the rate cut in September, and boom. I actually, this tells a story that's more than price action. And I had mentioned in some other videos how institution hedge funds and all that like to look at us as liquidity and how not to be liquidity. And that's why I've been buying either in small portions or not at all. So let's look at what that looks like in an individual stock, how painful that was. Let's see. So still red on the week, but look at this. Well, my record button's blocking it, but about 186 all the way down to below the Bollinger Band at 142 in a span of 3 days. Well, I guess it's a couple more than 3 days, but anyways, that's a large drop. If you had, 100 shares, that's $4,000 right there. And so when I say liquidity and all that good stuff, this was essentially market manipulation, in my opinion. We're all the way at the top. They knew that there was a good chance that Powell was going to hint towards something dovish towards cutting rates. So what did they do? They took their profits and sold pretty heavily, freaked some people out, and they probably sold too, and dropped it all the way down here to basically a technical, number that was acceptable, that doesn't change the overall trend. And then what happened? We went right back up. So I could have sold all this, put in shorts, and then started buying again right here and made a ton of money. And I think that's what they are doing. Because if you look at the weekly, it went all the way down to the 200-day moving average and then bounced right back up to the EMA SMA. Like, somebody made a killing on that. So he made such a big violent move, and then we're just back to almost right where we were. So hopefully I can broaden this channel and it'll be a little bit more clear what's going on now. But yeah, pretty much across the board since Monday. Some stocks even last Friday. Just heavy sell-off into technical territories. And I definitely bought the dip. I should have done an update. I kind of did it through gut instinct more than anything else. I kind of had a feeling that we weren't going into like a bear market all of a sudden. Still have plenty. We're just getting more volatile, really. So you got to be a little bit more careful, do a little bit more analysis and checking up in the meantime. September hasn't actually happened. They haven't actually done the rate cut. You can see here, you still have some uncertainty. And then what happened to Ethereum on the September rate cut odds? God candle. I had marked two things. I kind of marked that we had broken the trend a little bit, and we followed a channel. I had to also put this consolidation range here. It's not a very clean consolidation channel. You could do something like this, but that's a little large for a consolidation channel. Usually you'll see consolidation in a range of support and resistance, not two ranges. But either way, I think crypto is liking that news. You can see the measured move from Bitcoin is smaller than Ethereum. So I think, again, what does that look like for altcoins? So I don't know. I mean, didn't get a god candle like he did in Ethereum. But if we get into a stage of Ethereum dominance, assuming that we actually get the rate cut, could be an interesting fall for crypto. But I do want to get into this trade that I've been talking about for almost 2 weeks, and it might be coming into fruition quicker than I thought. We still got earnings on the 28th, which is only 6 days away. We still haven't broken out of the weekly channel here. And we did have a little bit of weakness in the middle of the week. This essentially right here, we hit the EMA, SMA, got right above the 200 moving average, and then just as the overall market went down, so did Lulu. But we are making higher lows and higher highs right now in the short term. We haven't seen that on the week yet. But without going into a full tutorial, what that means is, so even when we go red, we got lower bottoms, or sorry, higher lows, what I should have said. And then we rose above this one, got to this one, got to this one. So we're slowly making higher highs. Let's look at this on the weekly. I marked two circles. This is when it broke out of the channel and just kind of oversold. It also went below the Bollinger Band, and just had this looks like a bullish channel, but I'd really just say that's getting back into the range of things more than anything else, because as soon as you broke out, boom, right back down. And we could be headed for that again. Don't know, but I marked this as when we break out of here around this area, we're looking to get past this. If we get past this, I think we're going to start a new trend long term, which is why I've been nibbling. And I think this is potentially a play. Doesn't mean a whole lot at the moment, but I mean, it could just look like this, where we bounce off the 30, we get to here, and go, nope, never mind. But right now I made a couple dollars off of this. I haven't gone full pledge yet, because again, I want to look for an actual breakout. But I went ahead and bought a couple shares just in case. If we do get that breakout, I don't want to start chasing. I want to have some money already being made. Anyways, that makes me feel a little bit better on my analysis and gut instincts. Finding these long-term trades. Again, this is also kind of hinting at something that I mentioned before with rotation. Some of the other high earners are kind of just at slowing down momentum-wise. There might not be a lot more. They might still go up in the long term, but there might not be as much money to be made, because it's already gone up so high. So I think if we see stocks like this in the next month making new trends, I'm going to spend this weekend and next week looking at stocks that have hit all 52-week lows, things that are oversold or overlooked over the last year, because we could see a couple more of these and might be some good areas to make money. Kind of curious if Crocs decided to keep going or not. Yeah, on the week, it went a little bit higher. When it hit here and the overall market went down, it also kind of fell in line. So I was a little nervous if that was going to be the max profit, but it looks to be trying to make more movement. Got purple crossing over yellow. If it can, on the weekly, we're still not on the SMA EMA. But on the daily we are. So if we can keep that momentum up a little bit, might be able to start something different here. I think this is just a long term, and I'm not a big believer in Crocs or anything like that. Purely for a trading idea and thoughts. But yeah, I will do some research this weekend on maybe some rotational plays that might be coming up, and put some more ideas in there. Again, like I said, I bought the dip, for like tech and stuff like that, and Palantir, but I did it so like a small, a very small amount, just because it was gut instinct to always buy the dip, but we're not in great territory here, so I may take my profits next week, depending on what it shows us, because again, this doesn't look, I mean, technically that's a lower high, so we'll see, but just wanted to get something out there.